welcome to week 4 of Brighter Financial Futures for Our Special Needs Children. This is a collaboration between VistaPoints and Strategic Financial Partners. Today we will be talking about resources and opportunities. Finding the right resources that fit your child's need is very beneficial to the development of your child. We hope we can help you find the right fit. If you have any questions, please press the hand button and I will call on you at the end of the presentation. I will turn this over now to Bill to introduce our panelists. Enjoy, y'all.
Good day, everyone. I'm Bill Emmerling, and I'm with VistaPoint Special Needs Trust and Resource Center. I'm a public relations marketer for them out in West Tennessee in the Memphis area. I'm going to introduce both of our co-presenters right now, and I want to first introduce Carolyn Fleury. It's my pleasure to introduce her. She is a financial advisor and associate with Strategic Financial Partners, where she advises clients on how to protect their assets, grow their assets, as well as plan for tax-efficient retirement. And right now, Teresa, my counterpart, Teresa Law, handles basically mid-Tennessee and eastern Tennessee. She was born and raised in Middle Tennessee and joined the VistaPoints team in 2017, bringing with her over 20 years of experience in healthcare. Her public relations and marketing background complements the VistaPoints vision to raise awareness, provide education, and promote advocacy with regards to special needs trusts. Teresa came to VistaPoints looking for the opportunity to work with children and families living with disabilities, while educating our communities on the benefits of special needs trusts and other resources available to them. Please welcome Teresa Law.
Thank you, Bill. We are very pleased to be here, both Strategic Financial Partners and VistaPoint Special Needs Trust. Thank you for joining us. Today, we're going to talk about the many types of resources available to families who have a child with special needs or a disability. When I state a child, our focus is on any age child from an infant on into their 20s. After the list of resources is reviewed, our focus will change to where to begin, and that is with careful planning. To start off, I'd like to tell you a story about a grandfather who became the legal guardian of his 14-year-old granddaughter. I hope this story will help you see that we can all use some help sometimes. The grandfather was 86 years old when he gained a guardianship of his granddaughter. This was due to his daughter and her husband being arrested, and they were actually convicted of producing meth, and they both ended up in jail. This daughter had diagnosis with special needs. After a year or so, the grandfather saw the need to have his granddaughter interact with others. She needed to develop social relationships, learn day-to-day activities of daily livings, and possibly move into a group home when he passed away, or even before, to prepare for that time. The grandfather sought guidance from a financial planner and established a third-party supplemental trust to financially care for his granddaughter after he was gone. Planning absolutely made the difference. Our agenda for today, as you can see from the story I told, life does throw us some curveballs along the way. It is how we deal with these situations, what we learn, and how we are able to help our loved ones that can turn a bad situation into something productive, proactive, and ultimately provide your loved ones with the ability to live a good quality of life. Today, I will look at several of the resources that are available across the great state of Tennessee. These resources are not all-encompassing. There are many, many resources available to you. With a little research, you can find some wonderful organizations that can help you, such as respite care, adult day centers, training, education, employment, camps, therapies. The list can go on and on. This is your time to not only focus on your loved one, but also on yourself. Let's take a look at finding balance on our next slide. Finding balance in your life when you're caring for a child with special needs is like walking a tightrope, one faltering step, and everything can fall apart. And we know this is how our parents feel. However, if we can help with proactive research and a never give up attitude, you can have that me time and also provide good quality care for your child. Let's talk about Denise, who is a mother of a special needs son who is 8 years old. Denise works during the day, and while she works, her mother takes care of her son. The grandmother wanted to take the boy swimming so that he could get some exercise. In fact, they both kind of needed a little exercise for themselves. The grandmother worked out with a local community center to bring her grandson to swim during off time at the center. She wanted to do that because he's equipped with a special helmet that helps him hold his head up. His life jacket didn't quite look normal, but it was normal for him because it had a harness that allowed his grandmother to handle him and the suit. The suit helped keep the boy upright. This reduced the ability of his head going in the water and scaring him. I cannot tell you the difference that this exercise time made for the boy and his grandmother. Each of them talked with people and the community center. They had fun playing in the pool. They enjoyed that time together. They got some much needed exercise. But the benefit also came in the evening. The boy's appetite was better. And guess what? He slept soundly, which allowed his mother, who worked long days, to get much needed rest as well. I'd like to take a look at some of the general resources that we have on our next slide. There are a couple of general resource sites that provide a wealth of information, and we know that these are great opportunities for you to go to. We hope that these are new to you, that we're giving you good information, and that you will find them beneficial. Kids Central is a great website to learn about many different types of support the organization has for you and your child. Tennessee Disability Pathfinders is a wealth of information. Have time. Get on your laptop, have something to drink, and spend an hour or two being able to check out all the resources that they have available for you there. Review them in detail. I am confident that going to these resource centers will help you find much needed support for you and your loved one. Let's talk about some of those resources. Let's go to our next slide and talk about respite care. Everybody needs a break from one time to another. Not only does a break give you the ability to recharge your battery, but it also gives your child a chance to be out and to do things they may not do at home. They begin a different environment, and in that, the child may find the opportunity to grow into new learning of different things, and to interact with others. The outcome is usually good, and both parties benefit from that break. Then we have Care for Children on our next slide. Tennessee is blessed to have the Tennessee Respite Coalition. This organization assists individuals to take respite, to take a break. It gives you the ability to recharge while you can use a trusted individual to care for your loved one. Adult day programs are also something that you should check out. In Nashville, Centennial Adult Day Services provides excellent service to those that attend. A variety of daily care needs are met while they're there, but they also have entertainment and activities that stand out as a benchmark for other organizations. We also have Paige Robbins Adult Day Services. That's a gym, and it's in the Memphis area. This organization focuses on the overall well-being of the client, keeping each one of their participants in the swing of life. Our next slide will address older children. As children age out of the system, we often find parents looking for resources. Things that they've used for years are now gone. Often, we'll see that young adult become bored and act out, and the family doesn't know where to turn. There are programs for children and teenagers with special needs. These programs can provide continuing education for individual growth, training for self-improvement, maybe potential employment to continue their overall growth and opportunities in life. It is important for all people to feel that sense of purpose. You just may be surprised at how much your child feels better, behaves well, and gets involved in an outside activity that is incorporated into your child's life. You'll be surprised, and often so is your child. They love being treated like everyone else. Let's move into training, employment, and education in our next slide. We have 3 very terrific programs in Tennessee that work with children and young adults in an effort to help them be all they can be. Prospect Inc., whose corporate office is located in Nashville but provides services throughout Tennessee, will help with employment of people living with disabilities across the state. They also have services related to places to live and continuing education environments. The Satoma Center in Knoxville, Tennessee, works with clients living with a disability that have special needs to achieve their fullest potential. Then let's go to Chattanooga with Siskins Children's Institute. They help their clients who are living with a disability to improve their quality of life. All 3 of these programs can give your child an extra boost to be the best he or she can be. On the next slide, we also have continuing services with Labrana Children's Hospital in Memphis, well known for children with needs that are far beyond what we routinely see in our communities. They have a wealth of services in their clinics that are available. You need to check out their website and see if they have resources that will help you. Visit their website, click on the specialty clinics. Make that a good time to educate yourself. Summer camps are always fun, and on our next slide, we can take a look at specialty need clinics that will provide amazing adventures for those that will remain with your child for their entire lifetime, and you as well. Some camps will provide overnight sessions, while others are only day camps, whichever suits your child. The enjoyment and the activities that they will participate in will be new experiences and help your child grow socially as well as becoming more independent. A camp will give a much needed break to you and your child. A young girl convinced her parents to let her attend an overnight camp. It was just a 2-night camp. She was 13 years old and she was paralyzed from the waist down. She needed assistance in dressing and toileting, but this girl had a positive attitude and was ready to take on life. She personally trained her camp assistant to help her with her personal care needs, which included a colostomy bag that needed to be changed and checked. She also taught her how to help her dress so that she would be dressed for success for the day. She helped her learn how to help transfer her from her wheelchair even to a motorized boat so that she could go fishing. After camp was over, one of the things the girl told her parent was refreshing and wonderful. She said, "I was treated like a normal teenager, not someone with a disability." The young girl was elated, and her parents were as well. We also know on our next slide that camps can be a wonderful experience. Not only does the child have an opportunity to spread his wings and grow, it also can give parents that much needed rest. There are all types of camps across Tennessee. We encourage you to visit Very Special Camps for a list of camps open this year. Therapies on our next slide can be a big difference in the life of a child living with special needs. Ongoing therapy changes that life. It helps that child to develop emotionally, physically, psychologically, and have good social growth. On our next slide, we need to understand that therapy does not always mean stretching and exercise alone. It can be a lot of fun for the child living with special needs. There's a couple of groups we want to tell you about. One is Project Play Therapy. It focuses on sensory therapy. Sensory therapy is great for a child living with autism. It helps them learn to work with the difficulties that they find in life. The next one is Special Kids. It was founded in 1998 by Carrie Goodwin and her father. Carrie was working in an outpatient rehab and saw children with special needs who were doing well with their therapy until insurance ran out and families could no longer pay for those services. Together, Carrie and her father Dick, along with many other family members and friends, began envisioning a facility where special needs and mentally fragile children would not be turned away simply because of their ability to pay. Rather, they were embraced with Christian love and healing. Kids Out and About has a newsletter you can sign up for to receive. They have tips in it every session, and it's a wonderful thing for you to take a look at and find things that you can do with your child and resources that are also available. Flip for Function? Hey, it teaches with adaptive gymnastics and occupational therapy. The organization provides children with special needs the ability to thrive and develop a sense of achievement. My next slide is my favorite, horse therapy. There are 3 excellent facilities in Tennessee. Each organization provides children and youth living with disabilities the opportunity to grow and develop through therapeutic education and recreational activities with that new friend that they find. With our next slide, we find that we're looking at the first place to start. When you're looking at providing financially for your child that lives with the special needs, your first contact should be your financial planner. With us is Miss Carolyn, and I am confident that our audience is eager to learn more about financial planners, what they do, and how they help families with special needs. Carolyn, I would love to turn this session over to you now.
Thank you so much, Teresa. So educational on your part, and even day to day, I'm learning so much more. So thank you so much. Yes. So my name is Carolyn Fleury. I'm a financial advisor, and as we all know, people living with a physical, mental, or intellectual disability, they need extra care, not just emotionally, physically, but financially as well. So what I do is I help families with this, whether it's a child, a loved one, whatever it is, help plan for the future. Because when you have a loved one in your family with a disability, you need to plan even more so. And you need to start today. And I recommend, one, creating a team. It takes a village to raise a child with disabilities, to plan for the future, to make sure you don't run out of money. So I recommend that, you all out there, get your team involved, whether it's VistaPoints, myself as a financial planner. I rope in also accountants and legal teams as well, because it's important. Believe it or not, 80% of people do not have a comprehensive plan in place. And that's just for people with special needs and disabilities. It's kind of scary in some respects. So not to scare people, but it's important to start now in terms of creating a plan. Because the fact is, we're not going to all be around. So we all have our plan in place as to how we want to live our life and how we want our children to live our life with special needs. Whether it is getting a massage or going to the art classes or going to those special camps. What I help do is I help create trust, put money in to make sure you do not possibly jeopardize any kind of federal funding you might be eligible for, so that your loved one can live the life they want and that they can live the life even if you're not around, and continue that lifestyle. Housing is the #1 expense for adult children with special needs. And so we can create ways of working those special needs trusts so that they're funded properly, so that they can still be eligible for the government subsidies they're entitled to, and they can live the life they want. So my whole thing is, create a plan to enable your loved ones to live the best life they can. Implement the strategy with the help of your professionals, and then most importantly, review and update either on a quarterly, at least annual basis, making sure the beneficiaries are updated. But life happens, and so when you work with a financial advisor, I encourage you to make sure, whether it's me or somebody else, you revisit that as things happen, because life happens, life changes, and you need to keep updating your plan. So get that plan in place, and I'm here to help with any questions. Thank you. So now I'm going to turn it back over to Bill.
Thank you, Carolyn. It's my job really to kind give you a summary about Vista Points. And much like the organizations and resources that Teresa covered, Vista Points Special Needs Trust and Resource Center is a nonprofit organization. We offer trustee services and we provide trustee administration. So a special needs trust may be a financial tool that your child can benefit from. By using a professional trustee, the money in the trust is managed to protect the child's government benefits while allowing the child to purchase items or services in an effort to live a good quality of life. There are really three basic types of special needs trusts. The first one is called a first party or self-settled special needs trust. This is when the beneficiary themselves actually sets up a special needs trust. Maybe that beneficiary suddenly comes into a great deal of money through an inheritance from a loved one, or maybe a court settlement, life insurance policy. All of a sudden, you need to think about protecting those government benefits. So a first party special needs trust is where that beneficiary can go. And when I talk about beneficiaries, I'm talking about the person who is living with the physical, mental, or intellectual disability. The second, and probably the most common special needs trust is the one that I was familiar with, and it's called a third-party trust. This is when either a parent or a grandparent, a relative, even a friend wants to gift financial resources to the beneficiary. And a lot of times it's done through a regular trust. Upon the deceased leaving this world, that gift is made available to the beneficiary. And sometimes you can actually have it kick in while you're living as well. A third-party trust has helped one of my good friends very greatly, and was so thankful that they put it in place. Lastly is the pooled special needs trust, and I'm going to borrow a little story from Teresa to help you imagine what a pooled trust might look like. So you're in an Olympic-sized swimming pool, right? That is the pool, and everybody is on an individual floaty. Not my words, Teresa's, but it creates a mental image that everybody can understand. So you're all in the same pool, and each floaty represents a separate account. So your monies are held separately, but they are combined with other people's funds so that they are invested and hopefully earn a greater interest rate or a return on the investment, combining those assets. So a special needs trust is a legal contract under federal law, and that federal law was established back in 1993, called the Ombudsman Act. In order to actually execute that document, we do need to have attorneys involved, and we can help you through that process. We have helped, we know what a good outcome looks like, and we have helped literally thousands of people down this path. So an attorney in fact, or an advocate, that would be a family member, conservator, guardian, or a power of attorney, is responsible for assisting in the daily oversight of the welfare of that beneficiary, the person living with a physical, mental, or intellectual disability, or having a special need. So that leads us to a final story that I want to relate to you. So there are so many stories that Darlene could tell about families. She's been with the company probably 14 years now, and who have been living with special needs. There is, however, one story that stands out to her. It was 14 years ago that Darlene Kemp, our executive director, met this young man that you see on this slide. She knew that this man's story could make a world of difference to the family. And the outcome of the story placed an indelible memory on Darlene's mind. If they would listen to what this man had to do, let me share that story with you. Essentially, this young man had cerebral palsy. His grandfather dies, and the man inherits $100,000. His government benefits pay him for all of his medical care, totaling over $85,000 per year. If the man accepts the inheritance, he will lose his government benefits. He will use the $100,000 to pay for his food, clothing, and shelter and all the health-related needs. The man will have a waiting period after the money has been spent to requalify for the government benefits again. His option, he thought, was to renounce his inheritance and keep his Medicaid. There have been many times when a family member tries to provide financially for a loved one. The generosity is wonderful. However, the potential cost to the family member may affect the receipt of government benefits for years to come. This young man received $100,000 from his grandfather, as did the 3 other grandchildren. Because the man was disabled, if he accepted the inheritance from his grandfather, he would lose his much needed government benefits. The young man did not know about special needs trusts, and he ended up renouncing the inheritance so that he can maintain his government benefits. Later, much later, he was at a conference where Darlene was speaking, and Darlene was relating what a special needs trust was all about and how he could protect his government benefits by creating a special needs trust. Of course, it was too late for him, but he came up to Darlene after the seminar and said, "Are you telling me that if I had not resigned my inheritance and put it in a special needs trust, I could have kept my government benefits at the same time and used those monies to raise my quality of life?" And she said, "That's exactly what I'm telling you." And he relayed to her that, please, whenever you get the opportunity, relay that situation to other people so that they're aware there are things that can be done. So planning is everything. Don't put it off. What you can do today, your decision can be life-changing for someone. And now it gives me great pleasure to introduce Diane Smith. And Diane is the executive director of an organization called Spreading Sunshine. It's also a nonprofit based in Memphis, Tennessee, that serves families whose children have critical or chronic illnesses or special needs. Spreading Sunshine sends sunshine boxes to children all over the country and provides services to families in Tennessee. Diane is married to David, who is the executive pastor of New Hope Christian Church, and they live in Bartlett, Tennessee. They have 4 children, 2 adult daughters, and 2 sons who still live at home. Diane has worked in the nonprofit industry for over 30 years at a cancer research center in Ohio and another nonprofit providing housing for families with seriously ill children. She has a passion to walk with families and to help provide needed resources to parents caring for their child. I met Diane as a result of attending a networking organization called Talk Shop. During a breakout session, a fellow sponsor, Nita Black, once she found out what I did, she said, "Wow, I need to introduce you to Diane Smith, her organization Spreading Sunshine." And that was well over a year ago. After meeting with Diane for over 2 hours, I was truly blown away by her enthusiasm and well thought out marketing plan and the staff she had put together. I found out that there were so many wonderful and generous people who wanted to help families with special needs in any way. Spreading Sunshine is a very unique way to provide support and lift spirits all over the country, and their growth has been phenomenal in just a few short years. I'll let Diane Smith provide all the details with regard to her organization, but it is safe to say that she has a way to effectively communicate and market to potential sponsors, both corporate and private alike, and promote her organization to potential volunteers. Her focus in assisting families of children with special needs of all types of disabilities, from Down syndrome, brain injuries, heart conditions, etc., working very closely with Le Bonheur Children's Hospital prior to COVID-19. And I would like to welcome Diane Smith to our presentation. Diane?
Thank you, Bill. It is such a joy to be here, and I'm so grateful that we met through NEDA. You really did a great job introducing Spreading Sunshine. We are a nonprofit organization, and we do look for ways to really encourage and walk with and provide resources to parents as they're caring for their children. I mean, we have a real simple way to send sunshine boxes. We also nationally support families for a full year, and especially this past year during COVID, man, that was such a wonderful thing to be able to every month send a special package to families. And they talked about how important that was in this, especially this past year. It's my privilege to get to introduce you to Abigail Sacron. She is, we're going to see her on video in just a few moments. And really, Abby, she's the founder of Spreading Sunshine. And she is a mom who, she's going to tell her story, so I don't want to give it all away. But she has two young children. And the story that she's going to share is personal. But what I love about her story is that through her own personal experience with her son and his birth, and you're going to hear all about that, is that through that, she saw a need. She saw needs among the families that she met in the hospital, and she took action. She did something about it. And I think that's one of my favorite parts of Abigail's story, is that, you know, it's inspiring to us all to look for ways to see needs and look for ways to provide support and encouragement to other people. And really, that's kind of what Spreading Sunshine is all about. We're here to walk with families on their journey and to be an encouragement to them. So I will let you meet Abby, and she is absolutely wonderful.
Having us today and for coming to talk to us so we can share our story. I love talking about Spreading Sunshine and about what we do and about serving families. I always tell people that Spreading Sunshine began unintentionally. It was never a goal of mine to start Spreading Sunshine. The story began really when I was pregnant with my second child. Two children. Lily, she's 11 now, and David is 7. But at the time when I was expecting, Lily was 3.5, and she wanted to name the baby Sunshine. And we thought it was adorable. And so we called the baby Sunshine while I was pregnant with him. I had a completely normal pregnancy, no complications or indications that there would be any issues. David was born here in Memphis, and shortly after he was born, we realized that everything was not completely normal. His oxygen was low. He was turning blue around his mouth. When he cried, of course, the doctors and nurses were concerned. So about 12 hours after he was born, they suspected that he had a congenital heart defect. So a cardiologist from Le Bonheur came to Methodist Hospital and did an echo, and we found out that he had a very large hole in his heart. And they told us that would require surgery. Hopefully we could wait until he was 3 months old. And they wanted us to transfer to Le Bonheur Children's Hospital to observe him for a couple more days, just to make sure he was stable. So my husband and David were transferred to Le Bonheur, and I went a few hours later. And so we found ourselves in a position that no parent ever fully expects to be. We hear or see 6 children, but that's not supposed to be our situation or our experience. Of course, I was just a mess. I just had only been like 12 hours since I'd had the baby, and they're wheeling me in like this little cart. It wasn't even like a wheelchair. It was more like this cart, and I'm just sobbing. And David's already in the little hospital bed. He's hooked up to all these monitors and wires, and so I didn't know it at the time, but when my husband and I got there with David, they had told him that they suspected Down syndrome. And my husband said, you know, if he has Down syndrome, then we will obviously love and take care of him, but don't tell my wife right now. I don't think she can take it. So I didn't know anything about the Down syndrome. So the next morning, I was holding the baby, and the geneticist came in and said, "Let me look at this baby." And she said, "Yes, I agree, this baby has Down syndrome." And I was just floored, honestly, devastated. You know, the little boy, the baby that I pictured, felt like those dreams came crashing down. So, I just looked at Lewis and I said, "What are we going to do?" And he said, "Well, we're going to take him home and love him like we do Lily." And of course, that's what we did. And, you know, today he's just David. So, there we are at the hospital with, we knew we would be facing open heart surgery. We knew he had Down syndrome. And then, when he was 4 days old, he was diagnosed with a colon disease that required immediate surgery. So he had colon bowel surgery when he was 9 days old. So there we were in Le Bonheur, the NICU, for 6 weeks. And while we were there, people could not do enough for us. We lacked for nothing. Snacks, money, meals, people taking care of Lily, taking care of our yard at home. I mean, like, taking Lewis to get haircuts. Like, we lacked for nothing. And until this time, I really just lived in a bubble of healthy children. I never been around children who were sick. But when you're in a children's hospital the size of Le Bonheur, that's all you're surrounded with. You're surrounded with sick children and hurting parents. And so our eyes were just open to this whole new community of hurting people who, this is their life. But a hurting community who did not have, a lot of the parents did not have the same support that we did. So it just awoke this desire to hopefully one day be able to give back to that community. So once we got home and settled down, that's kind of where the Sunshine Box came from. Do you want me to go ahead and go into that, or? Okay. All right. So I was feeding the baby late one night, and so at this point, you know, he's 6, 8 weeks old, and we're still calling him Sunshine. His name is David. I'm not sure if I've actually said that, but so I'm feeding the baby, and I was scrolling through Pinterest, and I saw the idea of a Sunshine Box, and I thought, oh, I love that. That's such a neat idea, and it was just a box that was themed in yellow and orange items, but just the idea to brighten someone's day. So I thought, oh, well, that's something I can do from home and involve Lily in, and can send to somebody, and a way to give back to somebody that's experiencing a medical issue or in the hospital. So the next day we went and shopped and filled this box with all kinds of happy, encouraging items. And this particular box was going to a little girl who was having her 4th open heart surgery. So, and she and her mother were in the hospital, so we filled it with hospital-friendly items too. But we packaged it, shipped it, and then a few weeks later, we decided to do it again, and I sent a box to a mother who, in a similar situation as I was, an unexpected Down syndrome diagnosis, and I just wanted to encourage her in that particular part of the journey. And so we did another box, and then this time I posted about it on social media, and the next morning I woke up and I had several messages in my inbox that on Facebook that from individuals who have seen it, that they had loved the idea and that they would like to send the Sunshine Box. I was like, well, wow, that's really neat. And I wanted to do it in honor of David. So I said, well, let me see if I can find somebody so you can send a box to. So I did, and then messages kept rolling in, and so that was 6 years ago. And after a few months, I had to end up asking some friends of mine to help. I just couldn't keep up with it all. There were so many boxes going out. And then met Diane, and here we are, still serving families and sending Sunshine Boxes and doing lots of other things to serve families.
Thank you, Diane, very much. And Tyler, I wanted to find out, do we have any questions from our attendees or email and phoned in preparation for this presentation?
It looks like we don't have any hands raised at the moment, but we did have some questions emailed in beforehand. I guess the first question is for Diana. I don't live in the Memphis area, but I would like to volunteer in some way. Is that a possibility?
Yes, absolutely. We, you can go to our website, spreading-sunshine.org. There's a tab at the top that says Get Involved. And we have great opportunities to serve from home. We have some DIY things that people can do. And we actually have volunteers all over the country. So there's lots of different ways to get involved. Right now we're in the middle of, it's all about a birthday. David will turn, Mr. Sunshine will turn 8 on May the 4th. So we have volunteers all around the country making handmade birthday cards. One of the ways that we serve families is we celebrate the birthday of every member of the family in our Year of Sunshine, not just the child, but also the siblings and the parents. So as you can imagine, we send a lot of birthday cards. So we're currently collecting birthday cards. The other new thing that's opened up since the last time I think we talked to Bill, this is new, our local social workers from Le Bonheur and St. Jude are actually referring families to us who their children might be on hospice or palliative care, and we are throwing dream birthday parties. So we just threw a birthday party for a little girl, Jamie, a couple weeks ago, and her dream was to have a car that she could drive. She's turning 8. And to also have a carnival-themed birthday party. So we got our volunteers and our donors and our community partners together, and we threw a big party for her family and extended family, and it was just a gorgeous day. So it's all about the birthday. So absolutely many ways to volunteer.
That's very heartwarming.
Oh, yeah.
Here's another question. Which one of y'all do I call to get resources? I think that's to everybody.
I'll tag team on that one first, Tyler. Any of us welcome a phone call to us, and you see the numbers for Vista Points and Strategic Financial Partners on our thank you slide. The resources that we gave today, especially Tennessee Disability Pathfinders, has a wealth of resources, and they also have people there to answer those phone calls that are specifically related to resources for children or adults with disabilities. So that is a number one, ought to be on your speed dial on your cell phone, but we all welcome that phone call, and we'll do our very best from Memphis to Nashville to the Knoxville area to try to find the resources for you that you are looking for. So I hope that helps.
Perfect. And then I guess this one is for Strategic Financial Partners. How much money do you need to start planning for my child's future?
That's a great question. Bottom line is there is no minimum. You can start with as little as $10, $50. I would say, take a look. Let's look at your whole financial plan and see what we can carve out, and see what your goals are as well. Going back to what kind of life do you want your loved one to live, and prepare for those what ifs. But there is no minimum. So happy to sit down with whoever wrote that question to talk about the details of how much you can afford. I never recommend my clients going into something that makes them financially strapped and uncomfortable, but planning for the future, again, going back to the whole thing, planning for the future, especially when you have a special needs child, is so important to start today. And you've got resources here, and we can help make your family lifestyle, your loved one, a much better life.
Nice. All right. I guess if there's no more questions, I want to thank everybody for attending these 4 weeks. It's been fantastic. And don't be a stranger, y'all. Everybody here that's on this call is here to help you and be a resource for y'all. So everybody have a great weekend. We'll see y'all later. Bye.